The Queen's reign and character were completely shaped by Edward VII's shock abdication, a royal biographer has claimed. Next month, Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee will be celebrated across the country, marking the monarch's historic 70th. Festivities will culminate in a special 4-day weekend from Thursday, June 2 to Sunday. Her Majesty is Britain's longest-serving monarch, having ascended the throne at the age of 25 in 19. However, Elizabeth was not always destined for queenship. Her future as queen was cemented following the shock abdication of her uncle, King Edward VIII, who gave up the throne to Mary Wallace Simpson, an American divorcee. Edward's abdication caused a constitutional crisis, changed the trajectory of the British monarchy and immediately transformed the lives of Queen Elizabeth. And speaking on an episode of Podcast Royal last month, Robert Hardiman, author of Queen of Our Times, The Life of Elizabeth II, claimed that Edward VIII's abdication completely shaped the Queen's reign and character. He said, "I think it completely shaped the way she approaches the job and shaped her character too. I mean, let's remember that this was someone who wasn't born to be queen in the same way her father wasn't born to be king." It happened after Uncle David, who became king as King Edward VIII, didn't last long and decided that his love life came before the throne. And so he abdicated, of course, in 1936, and suddenly you've got this child who realizes, oh my goodness, Daddy's now king and that means probably I'm going to be. And it was a period of great uncertainty for the institution and particularly for this young family, a very close family, and then, in very short order, suddenly along comes the Queen and her family had refused to leave the country during World War II, instead choosing to stay in England in solidarity with those living. King George VI and the Queen Mother even remained in Buckingham Palace in London, which was bombed, and the royals narrowly avoided being struck down themselves. The King and Queen visited areas of the capital that had been devastated by air raids, which garnered a lot of media attention and public support. Meanwhile, Princesses Elizabeth and Margaret were living at Windsor Castle, where they'd been sent for their. Both were involved in the war effort from a young age, with the sisters giving a joint wartime broadcast in 1940 to the children of the Commonwealth, some of whom had been evacuated from dangerous areas to the countryside. During the broadcast, the future Queen said, "Thousands of you in this country have had to leave your homes and be separated from your fathers. My sister Margaret rose and I feel so much for you, as we know from experience what it means to be away from those you love. To you living in new surroundings, we send a message of true sympathy and at the same time we would like to thank the kind people who have welcomed you to their homes in the country." Elizabeth became the first female member of the royal family to serve in the military, having trained as a truck mechanic during World War II. The princess' military career had only just begun when the war came to an end in Europe in 1945. King George and the Queen Mother's highly symbolic decision to stay in London during the war points to the stoicism we see in. 7 years after her first public broadcast, Queen Elizabeth II made her infamous speech committing her life. In February, the monarch reaffirmed her commitment in her Accession Day message, marking her 70th anniversary of ascending the throne. The statement read, "As we mark this anniversary, it gives me pleasure to renew to you the pledge I gave in 1947 that my life will always be devoted to your service. As I look ahead with a sense of hope and optimism to the year of my Platinum Jubilee, I am reminded of how much we can be thankful for." These last 7 decades have seen extraordinary progress socially, technologically and culturally that have benefited us all, and I am confident that the future will offer similar opportunities to us and especially to the younger generations in the United Kingdom and throughout the Commonwealth.